Get going for today. Let's see who's hopping on real quick. So today I just want to talk about going from 0 to 50 gigs a year. Basically just an overview of the entire process in terms of what you guys need to do. For all you Speak Pro Academy members, this is just going to be a review. For everyone else who's not a member of Speak Pro Academy, this is going to be, I don't know. So let's see who's hopping on. What's up, Alex? What's up, Ben? What's up, Nick? What's up, peeps? And by the way, guys, if you go to speakproacademy.com/demo, then you'll be able to see what I see. So go to speakproacademy.com/demo. Basically, you'll see a demo version of the Speak Pro Academy. So I'm going to kind of go over the steps that you have to engage in to actually go from 0 to 50 gigs, at least 50 gigs a year. These are literally the steps that I engaged in from the very get-go to get on stages. It's literally all you have to do. You don't have to write a book. You don't have to do any of that stuff. You literally just do what I'm about to show you, and that's it. So let's see who else is hopping on. What's up, Assad? What's up? All right, said Alex. What's up, Tammy? Elio? So yeah, to all you Speak Pro Academy members, this is just going to be a review. Just going to go through the Speak Pro Academy, kind of make sure you guys are on the right track, doing the right things. And once again, go to speakproacademy.com/demo and you'll be able to see like what I can actually see. So in fact, let me just show you what you'll see. So basically, here's like the Speak Pro Academy, right? So this is the Speak Pro Academy. We're going to go over the entire process here. This is the demo version here. It's practically a duplicate. I just removed all the content from this. If you go here where it says Speak Pro modules, I actually kept this part in so you guys can actually see the steps that you have to take, the steps that you have to engage in to actually do the whole marketing stuff. So these are the actual steps, but all the content has been removed. It's just been replaced with either removed or been replaced with my video. But basically, we're going to go over this. So let's see. Step number 1. Let's see who else hopped on. And by the way, guys, if you have any questions, make sure you ask the questions now, and then I'll go back to them and we'll talk about them later. So step number 1 in terms of you actually filling up your schedule is picking the market. So you got to make sure that you're obviously in the right market. If you do this wrong, if you get it wrong, then pretty much nothing you can do is going to work. No matter what you do. If you pick the wrong market, it's like you're trying to sell something that people don't want to buy. So that's why you pick the right market to begin with. What you do is you essentially look at the speakers that you want to be like. I mean, I'm sure there are speakers that you want to be like and truly dissect their business. And let's say Tony Robbins, for example. Let's say you're looking at Tony, you're like, all right, you're on his website checking him out. What you want to do is you want to see how he actually makes his money. So Tony does not make his money getting paid to speak. He makes money getting paid to speak, but that's not how he makes his money, if you get what I mean. The way he makes his money is by selling tickets to his events. That's how he makes his money. He doesn't even make his money through online programs. He sells online programs. That's not how he makes his money, though. And so what you got to do is you got to look at a speaker and you look to see how do they make their money. So Tony, all right, he's in the self-help industry. How is he making his money? He's making his money by selling out events, stadiums of events. And so if you want to do that, then you start there. You look at someone like Tony. If you want to get paid to speak, you look at speakers who are getting paid to speak, and then you say, okay, they're making most of their money getting paid to speak. What are they doing? Or what market are they in? What industry are they in? So that's what you're looking at. So you start out that way, and then you kind of reverse engineer. So let's say, wait, you said you don't have any sound. Wani said, does anyone else have sound? Let's see, I'm seeing the sound here. Obviously, Instagram has sound. Okay, now you can hear. All right, cool. And so what ultimately first thing is you get the market. After that is the website. I keep talking about the websites. I'll do a whole other episode again on the websites. After that is your website. This is where nowadays you want to focus your website on mobile. Like, what does it look like on the frickin' phone? That's what you want to do. And in order for that to actually look really good, you got to focus on the images. So the images, you're sitting there for all you Speak Pro members. So let me show you guys. So let's go back here. So, okay, that's a demo version. So all you Speak Pro members, if you go inside the resources section here and then you scroll down, so let's let this thing load. You scroll down to where it says photos and graphics. You click on here, you're going to have all the images that you can use for your website. So make sure that you have all the images for the website. Make sure you have the video footage. If you don't have video footage of you on a stage, you simply create a demo video where it's just you talking about your story. Like you're in a nice setting, like here, it's freaking snowing outside and here in Vegas, but basically you're in a nice setting, a high rise, wherever you want to be. You're just in a nice setting and you have a video guy. He just films you telling your story. He creates B-roll footage, does what he needs to do. Poof, you got an amazing looking demo of your story. And then you start there. And so that's what you're doing from the very get-go. You do all this before you ever contact an event. So that's what you're doing in the very beginning. And once again, guys, if you want to follow along, go to speakproacademy.com/demo, and then you'll be able to see this. So you go /demo. Well, when you go there, you're going to essentially be here. So let me let this thing load. So you'll essentially be here, and then you click on the Speak Pro modules, and then you could actually see this. So this is essentially the steps that you have to engage in to actually go from 0 to 50. All right. So after you have the website, now you're setting up your systems. Okay. So it's really the systems. Let's see. Juanita says a lesson on Facebook ads. All right, cool. I'll get back to that. And by the way, guys, if you have any questions, make sure you ask the questions right now, and then I'll get back to the questions when we're done. So step number 1, the right market. Step number 2, the right website. Step number 3, you set up your systems. This is where you haven't even contacted anybody yet. You're simply setting up your system. So to all you Speak Pro Academy members, and once again, even if you're not a member, if you guys go to speakproacademy.com/demo, you go over here to Event Finder. All you guys who aren't members, you won't be able to access, you won't access the content. You can just see what the content is. But let's say, here's what you do to all you members. After you have gone through the website, you built your website, you go to the Event Finder section. Now you go through here and you're setting up your CRM. So click here, the whole thing is going to pop up. Ultimately, you're going to follow this process. So first, you're going to start with the event profile. So what events are you actually trying to go after? Is it colleges, high schools, companies? What events are you going after? So you set up that profile. You truly get inside the minds of the people who want to pay you. Get inside their brains, get inside their domes. And then after that, you're going to customize your CRM. So you go buy a CRM. If you don't have one, go buy one. I have Zendesk Sell. It used to be Base CRM. Now it's Zendesk Sell. So I use them. You can get any CRM. Doesn't really matter. It can be Pipedrive, Salesforce, Zendesk Sell, HubSpot, whatever CRM you want. Just get the CRM and customize the CRM where you're going to be putting in like the date of their event, little things like that where you customize it. At this point, you're going to go to the third section, the email templates. So this is where you're simply going to take all your email templates in terms of what you're going to say, your pitch, what you're going to say to follow up, everything. So the email template should essentially cover everything. I mean, everything from the standpoint of what you're initially going to say to them all the way to when you send out a contract and they don't respond, what do you do? So whoops, clicked on the wrong thing. So that's ultimately, it's like this, right? So you have email templates for everything. You write your email templates and then you just put those email templates into your CRM, put them into your Yesware system, but you're just going to take all your templates, write your email templates, bam, you're good to go. Write your email pitch as well. The email pitch, actually, Assad did a great version of this inside the group. He wrote his pitch email template. When you're writing your pitch email template, I'm not going to show you guys what he wrote, but when you write your email template, you write it in a way where you can customize it. So like Assad, he wrote it in terms of the beginning, hi, so-and-so, and then the part was in like parentheses. This is a part where he's going to customize. And then the bottom part, that's the part that doesn't need to be customized. Like, for example, if I'm talking about the companies that I've been hired by, if I've been hired by Best Buy, Aflac, AAA, Microsoft, Apple, I'm talking about all these companies. I say, Benji Bruce, he's been hired by blah, 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 and just list these companies. I don't need to customize that part. So that part is always going to be part of the pitch template. So from there, I'm just going to have the customized part in parentheses, say customize. And then below that, it's going to say quotes by companies or whatever is below that in terms of I don't really need to keep customizing this with every single email. So Assad did a great version of that. So that's what you're going to do after you customize your pitch. You create your pitch template. Then after that, you're going to get the document in terms of finding events. How exactly do you find the events? So what exactly are you typing into Google? What are you typing in Instagram? What are you typing in Twitter? How are you finding the events? You take this document for all your Speak Pro members. The document is already there. But if you're not a Speak Pro member, you got to create this document. So all you literally do, just sit down. Hey, you can sit on your phone if you want and just sit down and think about the actual keywords that you have to type in to find the leads. So if you're doing colleges, what am I going to type in? Well, that's actually really easy. You just type in college directory in the United States, college directory in London, college directory in Germany, like whatever. That's literally probably the number one keyword that I would use, but that's what you're doing. It's really, really important that you get into the habit of building systems for everything you do. So it's not enough to just create a document or to understand, hey, I can type in college directory in the US. It's not enough to understand that. You build systems around it so you don't have to think about it again. You just bring it up. You just see the document, like, bam, copy and paste this, and bam, you just instantly do it. With your email template, same thing. You don't sit down and write an email and then that's it. You write an email, you copy that email, put it into a document, and you update that document with better email templates as you go. Unless you're a Speak Pro member, then it's just already there. But so after that, you have all that in place. Now it just comes down to you actually implementing. So let me go back to this. And by the way, guys, if you want to actually see this, you can actually see what I'm seeing. Go to speakproacademy.com/demo, because this is just a demo version. So all the content's been taken out except for this. And so after you set up your systems, now you start prospecting. This is when the hard work actually comes into play in terms of you actually contacting the events. This is where you're sitting down all day, every day, doing nothing but freaking contacting events. That's all you're doing all day, every day. You send cold emails. You can make cold calls if you want. This is where you have to really pay attention to you specifically. You have to remove the procrastination that's going to happen. You have to get rid of the boredom that's going to happen, all that stuff. And you have to get rid of you have to be impatient with your level of activity and then patient with the results that you're going to get. So understand it's not going to be quick. You have to be quick, but it is not going to be quick. So just keep that inside of your brain. So after that, after you're prospecting, then it really just comes down to small things that are happening in terms of the prospecting. You're contacting events. They're responding to you. Do you know how to respond back to them? All that. And that's literally what you're doing to go from 0 to 50 gigs a year. Do not make this complicated. What happens is people think I got to write a book, or I got to do this first. I got to get a TED Talk first, or I got to do. You don't need any of that. I do not have a book, never done a TED Talk, none of that. So tomorrow we're actually not going to do a Facebook Live, and I even considered canceling like all of next week because I sold a $40,000 package to a real estate company, and I don't even have the actual product finished, and I sold it to them anyways, and all that was through outreach. And you have to understand that when you get good at this, you can sell anything through outreach. All you're doing is you're just saying, who's the market? So remember, the beginning part, the market, I'm picking the market. You get the website, you set up the systems, basically your sales systems, and then you get to work. Now you actually start contacting people. So that's pretty much what we did with the package, to where it's like, hey, we understand who they are, send out some emails, bam, good to go. And that's what you do. And like I said, everything comes down to building systems. Do not make this complicated. You're going to make it complicated. I'm telling you, do not make it complicated. What you have to do is you have to build the skills. So the complication is going to happen when you're actually contacting the events, like when you're talking to them. Everything you do up to the point of you talking to them, everything you're doing, the website, setting up your CRM, all that is a waste of time. But you have to do it. You have to set up your CRM. You have to set up your website. You have to do it, but it's still wasting your time. You have to get here as fast as possible. You have to get to the point where you're actually talking to people, contacting events. You have to get there as fast as possible. That has to be your state of mind, just 24/7. All right, let's see real quick, couple of questions. So Juanita said, is a lesson on Facebook ads in Speak Pro Academy. Is there one? Sorta, but not really. So there is one inside. If you go inside the I believe it's inside the Authority program and inside Industry Icon. But let me tell you why I haven't gone into detail on Facebook ads. Years ago, when I wrote a book for magicians, it was called Get Booked. And I was talking about how I actually get on a stage. And what happened was I talked about Facebook. I talked about, like, here's how your profile picture needs to be. Here's the dimensions of it, all this sort of stuff. Literally the next day, so I published it, and literally the next day, Facebook updated Facebook, and everything looked different. I was like, like, literally the dimensions I gave, everything about the Facebook page was wrong. I'm like, what the hell? They literally just jacked up my whole book. And the same happens with advertising, with the ads. If I were to, okay, I just saw it froze for a second. If I were to create videos literally showing me doing ads, what happens is Facebook updates their backend so often that when you look at the video, you're going to be like, I don't see that. Benji's clicking on this thing. That's not on my version. And that's what's going to happen to you, guaranteed. I literally just went in Facebook the other day and I was like, what the hell, this new thing that popped up? And so that's why I don't do the Facebook ads. What you want to think when it comes to advertising, not even just Facebook ads, you simply want to think along the lines of targeting and ad copy. Those are the two most important things. Targeting, once again, that comes down to you understanding the market. Remember how I keep saying, understand the buyer, what's going on inside of their brain. You got to understand the market. So that's just all targeting. At that point, it just comes down to ad copy. Then it's just, all right, what exactly are we saying in the ad copy? And so if you go inside the Industry Icon program, you'll actually see, let me see which one. I think it's in the online program one. Yeah, I think it's in the online program. Where I talk about copywriting, where you have to master copywriting. If you can master those things, the copywriting and then the targeting, you can do any advertising. Doesn't matter how often they change it. It's going to look differently. Whatever they change doesn't matter. You will naturally get really good at advertising. So that's one of the things where I'll talk about more actually coming up pretty often, especially when I'm about to do this event in terms of just building and monetizing an audience. But I will never actually create a video where you literally see me doing a Facebook ad, because once I create it, it's going to be outdated, guaranteed. So let's see. Any other questions? All right. What's up, Desiree? So let's see. Wani said, is a sales cadence sequence for contacting events you have not gotten a response from? Meaning once they respond, then you put them in your pipeline to get a contract. Yeah, the sales cadence is for people who, it's for leads who haven't responded. So what happens when you're contacting an event, like you've gotten to the point, you built your CRM, all that stuff, you got to that point, now you send out email number one, it just tells you how often you need to actually contact each lead. Because otherwise what's going to happen is you're going to contact some leads sometimes, and some leads you'll contact once, some leads you'll maybe never contact again. And it's just not, you're not treating the leads fair. And so the sales cadence basically says, for every single one of your leads, day one, I'm going to send out an email. Then I'll wait 3 days. And day 4, if they haven't responded yet, then I'm going to do this. Then on day 12, if they still haven't responded yet, then I'm going to do this. And so that's what the sales cadence does. The sales cadence is basically, all right, if they haven't responded, I'm going to do this. When people do respond, they're no longer in that cadence. It's just a matter of you're now having a conversation with them, and you're now setting follow-up dates in terms of when you need to do what you need to do. So if let's say I send out an email, hey, who hires speakers? Like, I hire the speakers. All right, great. They're no longer in that whole sales cadence thing. At that point, I pitch them. Hey, I'm the greatest speaker in the world. Go to my website, watch the videos. You're going to fall in love with me. They're like, oh, wow, you are the greatest speaker in the world, but we're not hiring speakers yet. We're just not ready yet. I'm like, okay, cool. And then at that point, I could say something like, well, when do you guys hire speakers or something? Either way, if they're not going to hire me at that moment, I'm going to set a follow-up task inside the CRM because they've expressed some sort of interest in me. They've said something like, what do you charge, or whatever. They've expressed some type of interest. And so maybe they're not hiring at that moment, but eventually they will. So I'm going to set a follow-up task inside of the CRM. And now the follow-up tasks inside of your CRM replace the sales cadence in a way. So It's literally what happens. And if you do it the right way, what's going to happen is what happened to Dave Davlin, where you're going to have so many follow-up tasks in your CRM, it's going to be hard for you to actually keep track of stuff. Like, that's what's going to actually happen to you when you're doing this the right way. So ultimately, if you're not overwhelmed, you're not doing enough. That's what I tell people. If you're not overwhelmed with what you're doing in terms of the responses that are coming back, everything that you're doing, if you're not overwhelmed, you're not doing enough to get what you want. And so that's the only way you're going to go from 0 to 50 gigs a year is by getting to a point where you do what I just told you. Like I said, it was simple process, but you do it so often that you become overwhelmed. This overwhelming feeling is going to actually translate into helping you out in terms of getting on stages more, because when you feel overwhelmed, it's like all this excitement and you feel like this momentum going, and then now you start to sound in demand when you start contacting people in the emails. You sound like you're just naturally in demand because you're talking to people, you're getting a lot of emails, a lot of responses, and then you're naturally going to start sounding more in demand. And so that's why you have to feel overwhelmed. You have to also understand that if you're not feeling overwhelmed, you're not doing enough to get on a stage. You're definitely not doing enough to get 50 gigs a year. Like, hands down, you're not. And so those are literally steps. If you want to see this, go to speakproacademy.com/demo. You'll see this. What you'll see when you actually go there is, first, you'll see this. It's almost a duplicate of Speak Pro, but first you'll see this. Just go over here to where it says Speak Pro modules, and then you'll actually see this part. So these are the actual steps. So once you start prospecting, now you're going to start doing these things. Like, you're going to actually implement a referral system. So the referral system, I created a whole video on this thing. The referral system is something that you use after you get the gig. Ultimately, what you're trying to do is for every gig you get, you want to get another 2, 3. So that's what you want to do. So the referral system just makes getting referrals more strategic. What most people do with referrals, they just make it happen by accident, or they just kind of let it happen by accident, by luck, or they're just like, hey, do you have any referrals? Or they just kind of let it happen. You don't. You need to be very strategic about it. And so that's why you got to master your referral system. But that's ultimately what you're doing. You simply make sure you're in the right market, make sure your website is good to go, customize your CRM. So for all you Speak Pro members, go through the Event Finder section, customize your CRM exactly how I show you in there, get the templates, all that stuff. You have all that inside Speak Pro Academy. Just get all that in place and now start doing it. This is the part that's the hard part for people, because most people, they get up to that point, they get the website down, they get the CRM set up, especially CRM. It's really easy when you're copying and pasting stuff. It's really easy. But then when you actually have to do the work, that's when people stop. Because what happens is this self-doubt just naturally creeps up inside of your brain. And so you start to say, well, I mean, like, I don't really have a pitch. Like, what if my pitch is wrong? All sorts of stuff that's popping up inside of your brain. You're trying to figure out all the answers right then and there. And I'm here to tell you, you will not figure out all the answers until you start doing stuff. Like, you have to actually contact events for it to work. So like, even how I mentioned with Assad, right? So Assad, he posted his pitch inside the group, the pitch template. Great start for a template. But the only way to make sure it's a really great template is to contact events, to have conversations with them. Then from there, you start to improve the template. Nothing I can do at this moment. Once he created that template, I gave him a couple things that he can change, but nothing I can do is going to make a perfect template until after he actually throws it out into the real world, gets real responses. Then we start adjusting like that. We see, how are people responding to his emails? Are they opening, clicking? How are people responding? And that's when you really, really get the feedback. So if you haven't started yet, then nothing you do is going to matter. Like, nothing you do is going to help you get business. You have to start reaching out to the events. All right. So any other final questions before we are done for today? So let's see. I already said, I assume 40K, you're doing more than just a keynote. Well, it's a workshop and then an online program. So I don't actually have the online program for them. So that's what I got to build. I got the workshop, but I don't have the online program. And so that's what I got to build for them. All right. So let's see. Any other final questions? Sales cadence. We got that. All right. Wait. So you said in sales cadence, if they still haven't answered and you're following up at some point. Oh, okay. Yeah. So that's a different one. Yeah, okay, so I didn't do it. So you said in the sales cadence, if they still haven't answered and you're following up, do you at some point send a pitch email, like say the third or fourth email? So here's literally what I do, all right? So once again, guys, it all comes down to the pipeline. Actually, I think I have the pipeline here in the demo version as well. So if you guys go to the demo version, speakproacademy.com/demo, scroll down and look at this. So this, I follow this every single time. Literally, I do not follow this. So the answer to your question is actually right here. So let's say you're prospecting, you find the events. That's number one. You find the events. After that, you send out email number one. So the sales cadence says day one, you send out email number one. If they don't respond, you send out email number two. This is a follow-up email. If they don't respond, there's no answer, you just pitch them anyways. And so that's essentially what you're doing. I've told Speak Pro Academy members that you guys can also get rid of this follow-up here. So you can go straight from email number one to who hires. If they don't respond, you can just pitch them anyways. Like, just start with the pitch. You don't need to send that second follow-up, to be honest. And the reason I changed that is just because nowadays it's just a matter of getting straight to the point. So everyone really wants you to get straight to the point, like get straight to the point with everything you do. And so you may get a better response instead of saying, hey, who hires your speakers? And they don't respond to that. The reason why they may not have responded is because you didn't get to the point. And so, even though it's better to do that than to just pitch, still you can, it's up to you. That's what I'm saying. It's up to you guys. You can send out email number one, follow up number one, or you can send out email number one and then pitch immediately. But ultimately, Wani, in terms of that, when you send out email number one and they don't respond, you can either send out follow up number one or just pitch them anyways. And the way I came to this is because at first, when I was doing that, I used to send out email number one and I would wait and I'd send out follow up and I wait again, send a follow up, and I would never pitch them until they actually responded. And then one day I was like, man, what the hell? Let me just pitch anyways. I just pitched anyways. And then I actually got a gig. It only takes one time for things like that to happen. And then you realize, like, damn it, I should have been doing this a long time ago. And so that's why you should pitch people even if they don't respond to you in the beginning. You just pitch anyways. And so that's what I'm doing. And that's what you should do. All right. So what trouble are you having in Pipedrive, Ari? You said, found another product besides Yesware. Yeah, so Yesware, I mean, it's just Yesware, and there's plenty of different versions. You can type in like Yesware alternative. There's tons of different versions. Ultimately, what you want to do is make sure that whatever version you have connects with your CRM. So that's what you really want to do. That's why I tend to recommend something like Yesware, because Yesware is very similar to Salesforce, where they're the biggest guys in the space, which means they're going to connect to everything better. All right. So yeah, Ari, what trouble are you having with Pipedrive? So let's see. We got that. All right. Any other final questions before we are done for today? So once again, guys, if you want to actually see the process in terms of the steps that you got to take to actually go from 0 to 50 gigs a year, all you got to do is go to speakproacademy.com/demo. And so what you're going to see is this. Let's let it load. So if you go to the demo section, what you're going to see is this. Scroll down to where it says Speak Pro modules. Click on that. And then literally, this is literally what you have to do. Steps 1 through 4, pretty much. That's literally what you got to do in terms of actually going from 0 to 50. The hardest part for people is just doing it. That's literally the hardest part. It's just actually doing it. All right. And we are good to go for today. So we're not having we're not going to do a Facebook Live tomorrow. I got to get this product done for these guys. So we're not doing a Facebook Live tomorrow. I will see you guys on Monday, 9 a.m. Pacific time, unless there's another thingamajigger. And by the way, guys, remember, so we do the Facebook Lives here on this page, the Speaking Lifestyle page, but also on the other page, the Benji Bruce page. So facebook.com/official Benji Bruce, or just Instagram.com/official Benji Bruce as well. So those are where I'm going to talk about more the Facebook ads, selling your expertise, just the motivation stuff in general, because I really want to emphasize the difference between getting on a stage and selling your expertise. Everyone seems to confuse these two. It's literally two different businesses. It would almost be like trying to talk about freaking football and basketball at the same time. It's literally two different things. And so just because you're a speaker, if you want to get on stage, like, hey, you can get on the stage. Understand that the activities for getting on a stage, it's very different than you selling your expertise, selling online programs, selling workshops. It's very, very different. The daily activities, it's different. Getting on a stage is literally what I just showed you. Very simple process. It's hard, but it's simple. And so that's all you're doing there. All right, so let's see. Do you need help with your online product? What do you mean, do I need help with the online product? No, in terms of what I'm selling them, I mean, it's already sold. So it's, no, I don't really need help with it. It's just a matter of filming the thing. So let's see. You said, I just want to get on stage. I have nothing to sell except my book. All right. Yeah. So Ari, if you're just getting on the stage, all you're doing is following the Event Finder process. And then obviously you're posting in the group as well. But all you're doing is literally what I just talked about in terms of the website, number 1, CRM, number 2. And then after that, just freaking prospect like a mofo. You're just freaking contacting people like a mofo. All right. So all right, so we are good to go for today. So I will see you guys on Monday, 9 a.m. Pacific time. So take care, everybody. Adios.